Get ready to dive deep into Buffalo's vibrant music scene because we're stepping inside the fabulous Flamingo Lounge for the 8th season of local music magic. In the Flamingo Lounge with Rockabilly Greg is more than just a podcast. It's a collection of stories that delves deep into the vibrant musical history of Buffalo and Western New York, creating a living archive where each story adds a unique thread to the overall narrative. This season, we're taking a deep dive into the heart of the music community. Join us for personal conversations with musicians and industry pros, where we celebrate the collective creativity that makes our favorite artists, venues, and events so special. But before we get started, I'd like to give a big shout out to our sponsors, CatsLikeUs.com, Diamond Hawk Golf Course and Pub, and valued supporter Buffalo Ironworks for helping to keep the music alive. Miranda Wilcox is an up-and-coming singer-songwriter fresh on the Western New York music scene. Currently studying music education with a concentration in voice at SUNY Fredonia, music plays a multitude of roles in Miranda's life. From sound recording to operatic performance, Miranda can be seen enjoying music in several different ways. This young musician will thrill you with her eclectic music set, which hits everything from R&B to rock to country, plus her original music. It is my pleasure to welcome to the Flamingo Lounge, Miranda Wilcox. Miranda.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
Hello. You're welcome. Thanks so much for making the trip up from Buffalo from good old SUNY Fredonia.
Oh, yeah. It's my pleasure.
I spent many a day on that campus back in the day. So grew up in Fredonia, so I know the drive well. So
it was pretty painless today.
Yeah.
That's good.
It is kind of a boring drive, but but that's a good thing. So, but as I like to start the podcast, I always ask everyone, did you have an aha moment when you said, man, music's what I want to do?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this. What's interesting is I don't really think I did, because I cannot remember a time where music wasn't a huge part of my life. It was more so when I realized which roles it was going to play, because, I mean, like I've said before, it plays so many different roles in my life. You know, I love sound recording, I love classical, I love songwriting, and I love performance. And as far as career path, I want to be a music teacher. So all those different roles had their own inceptions. You know, I realized I wanted to sound record when I was 12 years old on my iPad, you know, playing around with GarageBand, and I realized I wanted to songwrite when I was just a little girl, like sitting in a tree writing random songs, random verses. I realized I want to be a music teacher when I realized I didn't want to go into fashion. I was like, maybe I should let my passion align with my line of work. And so they all had different inceptions, but there was never a time where music wasn't in my life, because my family's musical.
Yeah.
You know, I just can't remember a time.
Right. Does your family play?
My dad's a guitarist, my sister's a guitarist and a vocalist, my mom has an amazing musical ear, my brother doesn't like to admit that he has a beautiful voice.
Oh, brothers never usually do, right? So, but how cool is it that you've grown up with technology that enables you to, I mean, I grew up, you know, we had to make mixtapes with a cassette recorder off the radio, you know, if we wanted to do anything, you know, and now you've got so much stuff at your fingertips, and I'll tell you, the younger generation, you guys really know what you're doing with the tools. I'm telling you.
Some of them do. I'm not the most savvy. My dad is an IT, so he does a lot of that for me.
Oh, good.
The explaining. You know, as far as recording, though, I am self-taught / YouTube taught, so I feel as though I can navigate that pretty well. I'm a bit of a whiz when it comes to sound recording, but I mean, I can't open an external browser. You know, I don't. Anything else, I don't know.
There you go. That's funny. So now, what was the first instrument? I also have seen, you know, some videos and stuff of you. You're a multi-instrumentalist, so guitar, keys. Yeah. Anything else, or?
Yeah, I play drums. I just started playing drums last year. I was in a little band. I do a little saxophone. I'm in a saxophone class right now. I play bass guitar. I play... What's that other one? Oh, ukulele. Ukulele.
There you go.
Who doesn't play ukulele?
Yeah,
though,
ukulele. You know? That's kind of the thing nowadays.
It is.
It seems like everyone's playing a uke.
Everyone is.
Yeah,
it's great. Yeah, the first one though was piano. I started taking piano lessons when I was 7, I believe, 7 or 8. I know when I was 7, I got this little toy keyboard for Christmas because I was begging for it. I was like, Mom, I want to play piano. I want to play piano. So they got me this little keyboard. They're like, okay, girl, you want to play piano? Let's see. And you know what? That day I was learning all the video game theme songs I could find.
Right.
So the next year I got my full nice, Casio piano that I still have today. But that was my first instrument, was piano.
Wow. Well, I was just talking to Brad Thatchuk. He's a conductor with the BPO, and I said, yeah, I want my granddaughter is 3.5, and she's really kind of shown some interest in playing music. I mean, she's got a little drum, and she sings songs, and just, and I got her a little play guitar, but the way she holds that guitar, she grabbed it like she was a pro, like she, just the way she had both hands positioned.
There you go.
She was muting the E string already. I'm like, there you go. I'm like, all right, girl. But,
how old was she, you said?
3.5.
Oh,
and then the wild thing is that, you talk about technology. So then on Facebook, I get this, post about these guitars that are made for kids now. They're 3 strings, and they got a little built-in speaker, but they're actual musical instruments. They're not toys, and to help teach them how to play music. So, I think that's a great thing. And
really
I told my
is.
daughter, I says, I know what, this is what your daughter's getting for Christmas. So whether you like it or not,
there you go.
Grandpa's getting her a guitar.
It warms my heart. I mean, it's a tough first instrument. I always say piano is the clear chords of instruments. It's that, to me, it's that default instrument. Everything's laid out in black and white, literally. And I've always found that's a great foundation. But I will say, this past summer, I was giving lessons to this 8-year-old girl, absolute sweetheart, on guitar. And that was really fulfilling as well. It's just hard to see the pain that comes with it. We were just talking before the recording. Like, I go through a lot of pain, like playing back to back and back. You know what I mean? And I can't imagine. And I have calluses built up on my left hand, So I can't imagine being 8 years old, like little soft little fingers, and that would hurt. So because I didn't start playing guitar till I was 12.
Right. I know. I tried playing guitar. I started when I was 40, and on an acoustic, and the same thing. I mean, and I switched to an electric because it's a lot easier to.
It is, yeah.
You don't have all that. Like you said, you're using 12-gauge strings, and I was using lighter strings, and doing a lot of bending, and I'm like, this is a lot easier, but still, it was getting that left hand and the right hand, and but I remember when I was a kid, I could go over to a piano and I could plunk out the Entertainer and stuff like that.
Yeah, there you go.
Never did anything with the left hand, but on the right hand, I was getting the melody down, and it's never went anywhere. We had, my parents didn't have any money really for music lessons way back in the day, or the room for a piano.
Yeah,
and
that's tough.
Nor did my older brother probably want me to be
right
making noise on any kind of musical instrument.
I know it's tough when you have siblings and stuff. I always wanted to play drums, but it's like, what do you do when you live in a 5-person household?
Yeah.
You have a drum kit, in the garage? Everyone's awake all the time, because...
Well, I tried drums, and I never got on a drum. It was just a practice pad, so it's like that.
Well, at least you started there, and you didn't start already trying to do a shuffle back beat like some people. Because they'll start out, you don't get the foundations down. It's like, what are you doing? When I started learning, I had a friend of mine tell me, like, hey, you need to start on the drum pad. You need to. And I'm like, I don't want to. I want to get the sticks in my hands, and I want to play the full kit. It's like, that's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
It won't work as well.
Unrealistic, right?
Yes, yes.
Well, see, that's the teacher in you going, yep, got to start with the fundamentals. And I know there was a, local legend, Ted Reinhardt, who unfortunately passed a couple of years ago in a plane crash. And a couple of the guys who are fantastic drummers around town, they're like, yeah, Ted, I took lessons from him. And for 2 years, he made me learn all the rudiments on the practice pad.
Yeah. And you know what? I bet he's a fantabulous drummer because of that.
Oh, Ted was, he was the man. I mean, he was fantastic. He was Spyro Gyra, and and everyone's like, you do. You want to get on the kit. You want to. I still to this day have it sat down in front of a drum kit. I never had the chance. Wood block for sure.
There you go. Wood block.
Triangle. Ting, ting, ting. I could do that.
I know some great percussionists at Fredonia that have been on triangle parts.
Yeah.
You got to do it. You need it all.
Right.
You really do.
Yeah. So you said you started writing when you were 12, you said, or was that was guitar you started playing?
Yeah, I started playing guitar
Yeah.
at 12. There's all these different ages.
Yeah.
I just shoot numbers sometimes. I'm like,
Right.
did I even say the same thing? I don't know.
But so when you started writing, I mean, what kind of inspired you? Did you just kind of, you said you were sitting in your treehouse and just
Yeah.
kind of,
That's the first time I remember writing anything.
Wow.
And it's funny because at the time, again, you said we grew up with technology. We really did, because I had my iPod in my hand at that time.
mm-hmm.
I was little, single digits. And yeah, we'd climb this tree in my grandparents' backyard. And I remember writing this one little blurb, and I still remember it because I still have it in my notes, because my phone is still synced like from everything I've ever had on the cloud,
Yeah.
So that note from 2016 or whatever is
Oh.
still in my notes app.
Wow.
This little thing I wrote when I was a little girl. So it's quite funny. That's probably the first memory I have of writing anything, but the first time I wrote like an actual song, I was probably 12.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was not a good song.
Right.
So the first time I wrote a good song, I was probably 14,
mm-hmm.
to my opinion.
Just 14. No big deal.
I still play out some of the songs I wrote when I was 14.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, because I just did the other day. There was one I wrote when I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
But you have all that like angst and all those fresh ideas because
Sure.
you're 14 and everything's terrible.
Right.
So they're pretty decent pieces.
Yeah. Do you find that those songs that you wrote when you were that age have evolved a little bit, like maybe musically, or you've changed them up a little bit, or are they pretty much still the same thing?
It's really interesting to hear recordings of myself doing them at 14 and then singing them now at 19, because I mean, I sound completely different and I have actual technique behind my voice.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe there were tempos I was doing wrong before, so it's funny to not have played a song in 3 years and then play it again 3 years later. You still remember everything, but it sounds totally different and more evolved.
Right.
I would definitely notice an improvement.
Mm-hmm.
Same with songs you cover. If there's a song like I used to cover a lot when I was 12 years old, and then I cover it again,
Mm-hmm.
however many years later, it's better and it's different, and it's really weird to hear because you're just not used to your voice doing that.
Yeah. Now, do you find that that's because you've just have the experience now, you're performing out more, or is it from schooling, or is it a little bit of both? Or
I'd say a big bulk of my improvement did happen when I started gigging out quite often. I would say that, but honestly, once I started training classically, things just skyrocketed in terms of technique, and just the mathematical side of it.
Right.
That how you need to treat your voice, as you need to treat your body right, you need to treat your voice right, and it's all connected, and it's so involved, and I mean physically taxing sometimes, and that's the price you pay. You really got to lock into educating yourself on how your voice and body works, because everyone's different and there really is a right way to do it. So when you're working on classically training, it is interesting because it's obviously completely different sound from all the other genres I do, but I find they coincide sometimes because there are notes I couldn't hit properly before, and now that I do them, they don't wear me out and they sound healthy.
Wow.
Because that's how my voice is supposed to sound. That's what I'm learning right
now. Yeah, it's wild. I know, again, I mentioned that I've listened to some of your videos, and I could see from the time, because I saw you at Flying Bison here a couple weeks ago, and that's where we met. And I found you on Facebook. I just, I get all these people popping up now that are musicians in my feed, and I'm like, and you're from Fredonia, and well, you're actually from Faulkner, I think, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So my Fredonia was my growing up in homestead, but I could hear a difference, and you could see the growth, and
that's great to hear,
in the music, and it's interesting because a lot of people don't know too. I mean, at that Flying Bison gig, you did 3 hours. Well, you had a little you had one, you took one break.
I think I did, yeah.
And people don't realize that's a lot of singing.
It is.
If you got a 3.5-minute song, I mean, do the math.
Yeah.
And you want to make sure that your set doesn't have 6 high note songs right in a row, right? You gotta balance your set list.
It's quite strategic. Yeah. I mean, and I always think about it in this way as well. It's, in a weird way, less taxing on the body to sing classical or operatic because, again, it's very pure in the technique. when you're singing pop style, you might be doing like some growly things, some raspy things, some runs, things that invoke jaw tension. So to sing for 3 hours at a gig is a really different feeling physically than it is to sing, for a 3 hour opera.
Right.
It's very, very different. So I always think about that as well. That's why I try to incorporate those healthy techniques, opera, into my pop and contemporary style.
Yeah. So now you're an alto?
I'm everyone says that. I'm actually soprano.
Oh, okay.
I think we're still figuring it out.
Right. Okay.
But I know my speaking voice is quite low.
Right.
And I have a pretty low range as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so funny. The first choir I walked into at Fredonia my freshman year, I walked up to the director. I was like, "Hi, like I'm in this choir." He goes, "Oh, okay, what are you?" And I was like, "I'm a soprano." He goes, I went, "I'm a soprano." he goes, "No, you're not." I was like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah.
Lo and behold, he placed me as a soprano, and we were fine. But
right. Well, that's quite a range, though. I mean, from alto to soprano.
It
Good
really
for you.
is. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I envy you. I mean, I'm a Barry. I got like
You're
the
very...
shortest,
it's
vocal range, but
it's tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. It's all about where you resonate more than it is range, and I have decent resonance on those top notes now that I've gotten some classical training under my belt and stuff. But I still have those low notes, of course, because it's where I resonate all the time. So
right,
of course,
yeah. And of course, as we get older, our voices tend to get a little lower. So
yes, they change a lot.
Hitting the lower notes, and I know with my buddy and I sing the lower parts, and he sings the higher parts. But both of us are, God bless the capo.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And
I was blessing the capo last night. Golly.
Right. Yeah, but to hit, to be singing soprano and then an alto and everything in between that range. I mean, that's. And to keep it clean, like I said, I complimented you when I saw you fly in Bison. Your vocals were very clean.
Thank you.
And I think there's a lot to be said for that because I have a hard time following vocals when I hear anybody. Mm-hmm. Regardless of who it is, and you were right there. I have to really super concentrate because I hear the music all as one thing, not the music and all the different instruments. People can pick out, like I hear the harmonies and the melody is all one thing. And when I was younger, I tried to sing because that's just what I heard in my head. So I'm trying to sing it all together, and people are like, no, that's like three different parts.
Right.
It's like
exactly. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Because as a sound recorder and as a songwriter and as a music major, I mean, that is something you work on a lot, Arlie, is isolating. Mm-hmm. The different parts and the different instruments. You have to be able to hear that as a sound recorder. I remember when I was a kid, my sister was in a rock band, and she would like play a game with me where she would play a song on the radio and be like, okay, pick out the guitar. Okay, pick out just the drums. Pick out just the bass. Pick out just the synth, know? Mm-hmm. And so stuff like that kind of trains your ear,
Right.
But
yeah, I've gotten better as I've sang more, but still it's like wild, to be able to, and I blame it because I'm not trained. I'm all ear. So I have to kind of, because my buddy, he's like, oh yeah, there's we added some Elvis songs to our repertoire, and he says, oh yeah, these are just a 1-4-5, and I'm like,
you're like, what does that mean?
Exactly. I'm like, okay, whatever,
well,
as long as you can play them.
There's something to be said for that as well. I mean, sometimes I miss the days where I didn't understand music theory because like I said, those songs I wrote when I was 14, they were so raw. I didn't know what I was doing,
Right.
But now sometimes I struggle writing a song because I'm like, oh no, is that quasi-tonal or not? You know what I mean? It's
yeah.
So you think about it too much and you lose some of that luster, I think, sometimes. So honestly, at this point in your life, I wouldn't bother teaching yourself music theory because it's a blessing to be able to listen to it without that.
Yeah, I used to work with a woman, and she was she was younger than me, but she was a harp player and played with the BPO and did piano and everything. And she says, I really envy you, Greg. I'm like, why? She says, because you're all ear. And I said, but I envy you because you can look at sheet music and play it. She said, but you don't understand. I can't play anything unless I got the sheet music in front of me.
It's interesting, right?
And I'm like, that's so wild. It's like both of us are envious of each other because of, our our abilities.
It's,
And
yeah.
I'm like, isn't that wild?
So funny. That's such a typical conversation I hear at school too.
Yeah.
Sort of, it's the same sort of thing. It's like some people are all ear, and some like I was just talking to my buddies about this. It's like you're in theory and oral skills for your first 2 years, unless you're advanced, but almost all the time you're excelling in one and not so good in the other.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like some people are all ears, some people are all math, and then vice versa. Like
Mhm.
that's a very, very common concept.
Right. Do you find that if those folks that are like all math don't have the feel? Because I talk a lot about that with, how do you get the feel
Feel's
of
important.
as opposed to just the
Yeah.
the rudiments, if you will.
Yeah, I definitely feel as though some people lose the feel when they learn theory, or they never got the feel, because I always knew theory.
Right.
Is it breaks it up into math.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like eating a cake that someone else made versus eating a cake you made, and you saw everything go into, you're like, I can taste I didn't use enough salt, sort of thing.
Right.
It's just like that. I mean, that's what I've been trying to preserve. I've been trying to preserve the raw feel of my songwriting since studying music theory, and it is hard because you get into all these things. I mean, right now I'm in theory 3. It's more of the why of music than it is the how.
Okay.
So it's been a little better because it's slightly less analytical in the sense that it's like picking things out like that, and more of like, okay, what is this really doing as a whole? So I try to preserve the feel, and I find that a lot of people who only know theory and never got into songwriting like don't have a lot of feel in their music. They see it as dynamic, they see it as nuances, technical terms, not like, oh, groove with it,
Right. Yeah, take it to that next level. And I always felt kind of proud of myself because I sang with my buddy in church a bunch of years ago, and they said, we're going to have you start singing Prepare Ye the Way of the Lord. So I'm like, okay. Well, the keyboard guy, he gave me the wrong note. And I started, and my buddy stopped. He says, stop. We got to do it over again. I'm like, okay. I'm like, what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong?
Yeah.
And afterwards, I says, did I do anything wrong? He says, no. He says, quite honestly, you were right on top of it. He says, but there was no way, because of the key he gave you, that the rest of the band was going to be able to follow along. So I'm like, oh, okay. He says, no, you heard it absolutely right. I'm like, because I've always felt like I don't know what I always feel like an imposter, right? Because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's okay.
And but they're like, yeah, but you're always on the right note.
And that's what matters.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, okay, so
that's what matters.
But it's weird, it's again, I'd love to, because I tried taking guitar lessons, and instructor, he tried teaching me circle of fourths and circle of fifths. Yeah. And the thing is, I'm a math guy. I mean, I've always been a math.
There you go.
It made no sense to me.
Didn't click.
That's
okay.
Yep.
That's okay. It's weird hearing math. It's really weird hearing it.
Yeah.
To relate it. It's one of the hardest things. Like, I feel as though I'm more inclined in oral skills than I am in music theory, just because I have that ear and I see it so much. You know what I mean? It makes more sense to me. I can imagine a piano. I can hear the notes in my head. But as far as putting it to math, I definitely have a harder time with that than I do oral.
Yeah, it's wild stuff.
Yeah.
Well, so you brought your guitar down here so we could hear some music. So I want to start, we're kind of in the middle here, having you play a tune and do a live song for us. So why don't you introduce, and as I said, you pick what you want.
All right.
I kind of have used the, did you ever see the Johnny Cash biopic movie with Joaquin Phoenix?
Nope.
And supposedly, I've heard that this actually never happened, but Sam Phillips says to him, if you had one song, just one song that you could play for me that tells me all about you, what would that be? And that's in the movie. That's where he plays I Walked. I think it was I Walked the Line, or Folsom. I think it was Folsom Prison Blues, which actually wasn't his first song. I think Big River, I think, was his actual first song, but it made for good storytelling. But if that was, something that I asked you, I'm going to have you play a couple.
That?
But
okay.
If
I can do that.
Yeah.
I have a really good one for that, actually.
Okay.
I wasn't thinking about playing this one, but now that you said that, I suppose I will. I wrote this one when I was 16. It's extremely self-explanatory, so I'm just going to play it.
Okay.
I'm going to play it in the right key, though. At about 8 years, I finally found myself a piano. At 12 years, I could sing some songs that I actually wrote. 13, I found out I've kinda got a passion for all this, and one thing's for sure: someday I'll release a pop hit. You know, I've grown to realize the world just can't always be that nice, and that time loves to fly, that when you're calm you're more likely to get it right. Slow it down, you got this. I promise one day it will be worth it, thinking that day has come. 'Cause now I'm 16 with nothing but dreams. Got a cool guitar and a silver car, and I'm not giving that up. Would you telling me that I'm doing just fine? I'm in a new place now, and I'm 16 with nothing but dreams. Up and listening, shouldn't be so mad about the cards that you are dealt, the way the figures stand. Just breathe and focus, there's always another route. Take time, you'll need it just in your unforeseeable future, thinking that time has come. 'Cause now I'm 17 with nothing but dreams. Got a cool guitar and a silver car, and I'm not giving that up. Would you telling me that I'm doing just fine? I'm in a new place now, and I'm 17 with nothing but dreams. Promise me, babe, that you'll always find your way back to your heart. Keep it safe, I know you won't regret it when you're 18 with all the same dreams. Got a few guitars and that silver car. Well, I give that up. Would you telling me that I'm doing just fine? I'm in a new place now, and I'm 18 with nothing but dreams. Oh, 16 with nothing but dreams. Oh, I was 16 with nothing but dreams.
Wow, yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Like
you.
that. Yeah, that was, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That-
quite, you know.
Yeah.
It's called 16.
16.
Mhm.
Wow. And you wrote that, I would assume, when you were 16?
When
or-
I was 16, I wrote it. Yes.
Wow.
The idea of it was to add an age every chorus, and then
Right.
there were only 3 choruses, so we had to stop at 18, but that's okay.
No, that's. I was able to hear some of the lyrics, so I was trying to focus in, and of course, looking at all my buttons here to make sure I'm recording it properly.
there you
So, but yeah, that was dynamite. Again,
Appreciate it.
very clean.
Thank you.
The guitar playing, and just really, it's enjoyable, at least for me, to listen to something. And the ironic thing is, though, I usually like a lot of raw grit in my music.
Yeah.
And you don't have that, but it's really nice. I like it. You know,
Thank
it's
you.
like, and when I mean that, it's like it's not crunchy and it's not,
Yeah.
You
I get
know,
what you mean.
it's very, I don't know how to describe it. I'm not good at describing, like when people ask me, I've had so many musicians down there, what do you think of my music? I'm like, I like it. Well, you know, I don't know anything more to say about, you know, the intricacies and the arpeggios and the blah blah blahs and the I just don't have that kind of
And that's okay.
knowledge to say that. It's just like, yeah, it spoke to me, you know. It does. Or to me, I always say it speaks to me or it doesn't speak to me. And you know, and like I had Jeff Myers down here, who's the music critic was the music critic for the Buffalo News,
Uh-huh.
and he says, yeah, as a music critic, I have to be a little bit more succinct to say I just can't say this music spoke to me or not. I said, well, that's because you're a writer. I'm not. So,
Oh my gosh.
but
No,
yeah,
it still means a lot, especially from something like that,
yeah,
It really does.
yeah. It's well, music gets into you, and I think maybe getting back to like my point of just being all ear. I think that's where that comes from. It's just I'm hearing what I like, and I'm
Yep.
hearing what I can, maybe what I can sing, but it's just it was really nice, and it had a good message.
Thank
So
you. Yeah.
yeah. So now, do you play that one out a lot, or?
Honestly, as of lately, not too
Mm-hmm.
often. Like I said, I had in mind a couple different ones,
Right.
but as far as life story, I mean, that's so true. I have a few really meaningful story ones like
Mm-hmm.
that, but they're quite dear to me. I mean, I have another one. It's on my most recent album I put out last year called Black Eyeliner.
Mm-hmm.
There's a track on that called More Than This Guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot about my family and how they have supported me and how they mean so much to me because they really see all of me, the
Right.
side that's a musician, the side that isn't. So
Mm-hmm.
I only have a few songs like that because I think everyone says this, but when I'm writing a song, I'm either writing a story completely unrelated to myself,
Okay.
or I'm writing about myself.
Right.
And it's rare that I share the ones where I'm writing about myself because that's so scary, that's so
Yeah.
vulnerable,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's all you're doing. But
Right.
that's one of those, and I'm proud to say I wrote this about myself. I wrote this about my family.
Well, that's great.
And then this one, obviously, it's kind of the progression. So
Right. Well, and I thank you for sharing that with my audience.
Absolutely.
So it's great. So
thank you.
it's I've had that happen here on the podcast, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's a fun thing to be part of that, and kind of have some exclusives and some stuff you gotta tune in to listen to right here. But well, I'll try and break that out so I can give you an MP3 of that from here, so you can have that.
Thank you.
And
A live
but
acoustic.
but we'll see. Again, I've learned how to do all this sound engineering stuff just kind of on the fly again.
That's hey, you need to. That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, I went to SUNY Fredonia to be a graphic designer, and that's
Yeah?
what I've done, and
That's awesome.
my whole life, and and then just doing this because I do all my graphics and stuff for the podcast. But
Yeah.
then, like, oh, Adobe's got Adobe Audition. I'll use that. Had no clue. First couple episodes, that was pretty rough.
It's okay, it happens. I mean, I'm sitting in my room mixing and mastering for hours and hours and hours on end. So to do on the fly like that is impressive in itself. I could never. I would be so worried.
Yeah.
So you got that at least.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, and I've screwed up a few episodes, so unfortunately, I've had to have some people come back because I'm like, oh, and not even at the back on the post edit, just in this part here, it's like, this interface these audio interfaces are very touchy.
They absolutely can be. Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
and
So I use a Scarlett Focusrite, so that's pretty point blank little thing. But
yeah,
I can only see in the reflection of the mirror you got something a little cooler going on.
yeah, it's a Volt P746. A buddy of mine was like, oh, this is what you got to get, and couple guys, actually, a friend of mine, Scott Reynolds, who his fiance owns Downtown Brew in Fredonia.
Okay,
So
there you go.
I don't know if you've seen Scott play at he plays at Downtown Brew every now and then.
Oh,
and,
nice.
He's played all over the world, punk stuff. He was just up here in Buffalo doing some acoustic stuff,
Awesome.
fantastic stuff. But he's like, yeah, you got to get one of these, and so I'm like, okay. And then I invited another friend who I had on the podcast, Michael Shamil, him and his girlfriend Brittany. They do this thing called Nickel City B-Sides, and they do all these videos. And I said, I have no idea what I'm doing. How much would you charge me to come over and give me a couple-hour tutorial just so I know what I'm doing? And he came over and he helped me a lot. So, and I always say I try not to impose on anybody to do anything for free because we're all putting in a lot of time and energy, right? And yes, you're younger in your career and exposure, but you can only give so much of your
you're
talents
right about
away,
that.
and I used to get invited down to SUNY Fredonia to talk to graphic students, and I always used to say, look, if you're gonna do something pro bono, make sure you tell somebody, I'm doing this pro bono, but it's worth this much money if I was going to charge you. So
Yep.
that way they know they're not getting something scot-free.
It's a great point. Yeah.
you
I
know?
definitely try to balance it out because there's things that will always be important to me that I'll do for free or
Sure.
for very, very cheap. But, you know, you have to give yourself some grace and respect,
Mhm.
you know, because you got to tell yourself, like, okay, I do deserve this and that.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
it depends on the person, but it definitely is important to respect your own craft in that way.
exactly. Well, you came from Fredonia. You paid gas money, tolls,
Yep.
time. It's all worth something, right?
Yeah.
And I'm the same way. I mean, I have nonprofits and causes that I will do stuff, pro bono. But now, my buddy and I were like, no, we're at the point we're not doing very few shows we'll do for free.
Yep.
Because we put the time and the energy, and you got a guitar, you usually got a PA. I mean, you had some cool toys too.
Oh,
I gotta
thank
say,
you.
man, you guys. I know my buddy's like, oh, I gotta look at those toys.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, my dad would be very happy to hear that. We've spent years really, really perfecting it, the setup and everything. But I mean, yeah, my dad and I say that all the time because he comes with me everywhere. A lot of my family comes with me.
Right.
Oftentimes, but at the very least, my dad, he'll help me set up and he'll just make sure everything's okay, make sure there's no weirdos in the bar.
Yes.
Need that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've spent a long time, and it's like a lot of these places and a lot of these venues don't realize it's not just 3 hours. It's, all that time spent practicing, putting together a set list that will work, being actual entertainment, being personable, exposing yourself in front of a microphone for 3 hours. It's driving out, setting up, doing the thing, packing up, driving back, tired. It's all of that. It's not just like, oh, well, you're just singing a few songs. I mean, when it comes down to it, like these gigging musicians, I mean, especially, I have 4 or 5 gigs a weekend sometimes, and that it's a lot. It's so, so fun. I wouldn't trade it for the world, but it's a lot.
Yeah.
So not everyone realizes that.
Yeah.
It's cool when they do.
Yeah. But it takes time.
Yes.
Yeah. And getting that right mix, and for the audience that you're playing for, you're playing
Good
for
point.
different, whether you're at I know I see you 21 Bricks. I'm sure that's a different crowd than a Flying Bison
exactly.
crowd.
It's all so different. Yeah.
It's you got the older folks, and you do a cool mix though of older tunes that aren't like the same songs that everyone's playing.
Thank you. That's my parents.
Yeah.
That's on them. They put me on the Motels, bands like that. I do some Def Leppard. I love Def Leppard though, so that's on me. But yeah, I try to, because it's like, could I play Van Morrison Brown Eyed Girls 6 times over? Yeah. Could I play Free Fallin'? Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't, because let me do a different Van Morrison song. Like, let me do something else in the same time period. I mean, sometimes someone will ask me for, I actually just recently learned an Alanis Morissette song finally, because I get asked for it so much. But like when people ask me for that, I'm like, no, I'm sorry, I don't know when you do like a different artist from that time period. And then typically, like there's someone, every single time I play out, I try to curate a set list that will please at least one person in the room every single time. And that's not always the sing-along crowd pleasers. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you go somewhere, they're like, hey, we just want crowd pleasers. And I'm like, all right, Hotel California, let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
Depends.
Yeah, that's frustrating though as an artist, right? When you want to do something, you want to do your originals, but then you even want to do covers that might not be the most
popular
covered and most popular songs.
Yeah.
But then I'm the kind of guy who I listen, I'm like, oh, I haven't heard that song in a long time. That's a great song, and I've said it before. I remember when Kelly Clarkson was on American Idol for the first year, and it was 40s week. She sang a song. I know that genre pretty good. Never heard the song before. She killed it. Made it her own.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's what you got to do, right?
Yes.
I mean, she took a song that's been around for a while. I'm sure there's people out there that knew it, but it wasn't the same. Unfortunately, the folks that decided to do the songs that everybody knows, because then they're comparing.
They're comparing, yes,
right?
exactly. And the other thing is, this is a weird detail, but some people are afraid of changing the key. They're afraid of that capo. You
Right.
know, and I was just thinking about that this morning. I'm like, I'm so glad I grew out of being afraid to change the key because I'm 14 years old trying to sing Whitney Houston in the original key. Girl,
Yeah.
no. You have different voices. You're not doing that.
Exactly.
So it is important. And I also think it's important to, when you're playing a lesser known cover, to say that. I mean, oftentimes, like I do a song, Wild Ones by Bahari. The only reason I know that song is because when I was with my second piano instructor, we were in a Christian band together. I was like 12, and that was one of the songs we did.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how she knew it. It just kind of stuck with me. It's a fun song.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll always kind of tell that story when I play it out and be like, yep, this is a lesser known 3-piece girl band. They do this song, and it's one of the first ones I ever learned on guitar. It's the first one I performed on guitar. Here you go. And that immediately is so much more interesting than to just randomly hear this voice droning in the corner, something you don't know. So that's really important too.
Yeah. Oh, well, we always say sometimes our lack of being able to, because we do a lot of Simon and Garfunkel, and Art Garfunkel is not human, right? I mean, he's hitting he's hitting some songs some sopranos can't hit.
Yes.
You know?
Crazy.
And it's like, yeah, we can't do that, because I remember one time they're like, someone says, oh yeah, we really liked, you know, your arrangements and how you did that. And they're like, that's just because that's where we can sing them. You know, we have to pull them down. We just aren't. And, you know, if you want to hear Simon and Garfunkel, then go to a jukebox.
Yep, there you go.
You know, that's my opinion too.
That's a great way to put it. I agree. I mean, I heard a band at the Hamburg Music Festival over the summer when I did it. I wish for the life of me I could remember the name, but I can't. They were a 3-piece. They were all alumni of SUNY Fredonia. And I think they covered Mr. Brightside, and I didn't even realize what the song was until like 3/4 of the way through. Because it was a groovy, swingy jazz rendition. And then this bassist starts singing. He's hitting all these riffs. I was like, whew.
Yeah.
Gosh. So, yeah, it's important, and it's awesome to see somebody be able to make it their own, because you know who couldn't? Those people that only know theory.
Right.
They can only read notes on a page. They can't make it their own. So,
I had a venue owner tell me, they're like, the new Freebird now for the younger musicians is Valerie.
That's so funny, because I do that one.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
He's like, oh my gosh, have I got to hear that one more time? Because everyone does that song.
I love that one. Yeah, I just started playing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome to hear.
Yeah. Of course, I love Amy Winehouse, but
no, but over and over and over again.
Yeah. If you're, you know, and you know, like I work in the print business, and my boss, he's a managing partner out at the Diamond Hawk Golf Course, and he's like, yeah, we hear a lot of the same stuff, you know, from different bands, you know, day in, day out. And I'm like, yeah, that's when it's nice when some bands do come in and they won't play old time rock and roll from Bob Seger. I mean, he's got a huge catalog, right?
Yep.
Play something different.
Yep.
I had that argument when I got married 11 years ago to my wife. We had that argument. I wanted a live band. She wanted a DJ. And I says, okay. And I got real snobby with the real music snobby with the DJ, and I says, look, we like to swing dance. I don't want Glenn Miller's In the Mood.
Okay.
I want Little Brown Jug. I want something different. I says, everybody plays In the Mood. I says, you tell me you got 200,000 songs in your library, we'll use them. You know, and he's like, okay, tough guy.
There you go.
You know, and I says, and if you play Sing, 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 I don't want Benny Goodman's version. I want Chick Webb's version. He says, oh, you're one of those guys. And I said, yeah, I am, because I want a little variety. I want, you know.
I really respect that about you. It's so true. I mean, think Nashville.
Yeah.
Every single bar you walk into, chicken fried, you know. Every single one, and whatever, all the other ones, Tennessee whiskey over and over again. All your Tyler Childers over and over again. All of the same ones. I'm like, goodness gracious.
Exactly. How many times have they heard Crazy? You know, it's like, one more time, I'm going crazy, you know? So, and I think, and that is, show me something that shows you, you know, give me something a little different. And,
I mean, that's why I always open a lot of my, I do Crazy by Gnarls Barkley.
Okay.
And I do my own rendition of it. It's in a different key. It's a lot slower.
Right.
And when I introduce it that way, it goes over pretty decently, you know?
Yeah. Well, again, putting your own spin on it is a whole different, shows that you're an artist too.
Yeah, so true.
But it does give people a little bit of a chance to you know, sing along and be, oh, okay. And, like again, when I was just talking earlier to Brad Thatchuk, I said, you know, when they do the rock shows, I said, do you guys, you know, change it up a little bit? Because like I saw Norah Jones last year at Art Park, and of course, you know, the songs that she got famous for, 20 some years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times has she played those?
Yep. Don't know
And
why.
don't know why.
Yep.
But she did a version of it that was a little different. She mixed it up a little bit. You could tell it was Don't Know Why,
Yes.
but it was arranged a lot different. So I'm like, as an
Oh.
artist, that's got to be kind of cool to be able to.
That is so awesome. Yeah,
You
well,
know?
I mean, I've seen a lot of modern artists do that. Sabrina Carpenter, Chappell Roan, like Taylor Swift even come out, and I know you're a Swiftie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
She'll come out and she'll be like, I've played this song so many times. We're going to do it a little different. It's like, again, sort of thing where you don't recognize it until the
Right.
end of the song. You're like, wow, like
Yeah.
that was good luck, babe. Like, goodness. So,
Yeah.
it goes to show. It goes a really long way, that sort of thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, how many times are you going to ask me to sing Pink Pony Club? Right?
Yeah.
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 And again, that shows a real artist who's taking their own songs and doing something different with them
Mm-hmm.
and making them a different experience,
Mhm.
every time. So it's not so, mundane, I guess. Again, if you want, then we'll just put a playlist together on the jukebox, hit the button and go
Yep.
drink beer,
Exactly.
And but then again, I find myself that I'm the oddball out when it comes to that kind of stuff because I
Mhm.
want to listen to music
Yes.
and other people just want to
Dance.
Freebird,
Yep. Freebird.
We
Yeah.
just,
I've never played Freebird once at a gig. I actually refuse. When someone says that, I will go dead silent, and I'm like,
play it polka style, Well, there's a meme. I mean, it's like no Freebird, no Mustang Sally, no
Stairway to
Margaritaville.
Heaven.
Yes,
Yeah.
no stair. Well, come on. It's like, what? Do you have a double neck? I mean, come on. It's like, give me a break.
I've had people ask me to play Stairway to Heaven. I'm like, Dad, get up here.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Exactly. But, and it's funny. It's like, and I've had people tell me, they're like, yeah, some people have come up and because I wasn't playing exactly, tribute style, they walk out. I'm like, okay.
I've seen that as well.
Yeah.
People don't always love that unique vibe. That's why I appreciate that so much about you. My mom's the same way. She absolutely adores renditions, but not everybody does. I
No.
mean, and even in the classical realm, like if somebody does an arrangement of a piece and that it just pisses them off, they get so irritated and they will not give that to their choir, and then their whole choir is mad because they don't like that arrangement of
Right.
whatever. So it happens all over the place.
Yeah, I know. I've done theater, and I remember I did a stage production of 12 Angry Men. I remember my brother, he came to see the show, and of course, stage show movies, they're usually two different animals,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So he's like, "You didn't do this right. You didn't do that right." And I'm like, "Wait a minute. We weren't doing the movie. We were doing the stage version." And I've done like A Christmas Story. I played the old man.
Oh,
And
yeah?
it's kind of this. It's kind of the same, but it's a very different show on stage than the
Yes.
movie. And again, why would you want to? And even friends of mine were like, "Yeah, they're like, we know you'll do the old man." Like people were expecting me to do exactly what the old man sounded like, acted like on the movie, and I'm like, no, as an actor, as a performer, you want to put enough of it into it so it's kind of familiar, but you got to put your own spin on it.
That's the only reason people get famous. If everybody was the same, nobody would make it.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yes. That's why, and I always, I was on the board of the Buffalo Music Hall of Fame for 11 years, and that's kind of how I got really plugged into the local music scene. And there was always the argument of, do you induct a cover band? And I said, well, there's a difference. I said, if they're covering songs but putting their own spin on it, that's a whole different ball of wax than a tribute band who's really, an Elvis tribute, let's say. And we did induct Terry Buckwald, and he does a wonderful job and has raised a lot of money for charity. But if you're just mimicking somebody, and that's your thing, that's wonderful. But
Yeah,
is
sometimes.
that worth being inducted? And then and then a lot of people are like, well, Elvis wasn't, he covered everybody else's songs. I said, that's right. He came up in an era where you weren't the singer-songwriter thing wasn't a big deal. You had people that wrote songs, and then I said, but listen to everything he ever did. everything he sang, he made it his own. It was an Elvis song.
Completely different.
Yeah,
Yes. No,
you know?
and that's why he got famous, because he did everything different. He was insanely unique.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was a true artist. Same with Sinatra. You know,
yep.
it's
I was
like,
gonna say, this is the reason I love jazz. You know, because the thing about jazz renditions that I didn't really realize until after I was at Fredonia, because I'm in a few jazz ensembles. Wow, every time it's covered, completely different song. I've heard so many different versions of Take the A Train. I do a cover of like Stormy Weather. I do a cover of Misty, and it's so freeing to know that I can completely make it my own and completely I say screw with the rhythm and whatever.
Yeah.
And even the placement of the verses and whether it's a ballad or a swing, like it's completely malleable. And that's awesome with jazz. That's why I love jazz so much.
That's what's so great about the Great American Songbook, though, too. Those songs can be interpreted 1,000 ways till
Very
Tuesday,
interpretive.
right? And I'm sure you know that Stormy Weather was written by Buffalo's own Harold Arlen.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
No way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I've always tried to figure that out. Because I thought it was... I knew it wasn't Lena Horne originally, but that's the first cover I had known of.
Yeah.
Lena
I
Horne.
can't remember if Lena... I have the sheet music of...
Oh, yeah?
Lena. Yeah. I'll have to show it to you. But I'm always, I always tell folks, it's like, so many of those Great American Songbook writers are right from here. Yeah. Right from Buffalo.
Doesn't surprise me, honestly.
Yeah. Which is... And everyone's like, really? I didn't know that. And it's like, do your homework, damn it. Well, we're getting kind of close to the top of the hour,
Gosh,
Miranda.
already?
So
that's crazy.
Yeah, I know it goes quick.
It really does.
So can you end us out with, close us out with another tune?
Yeah. Should I? So I was thinking of one that I have released, but I play it a little different than I do on the record, and then I have one that I have not released. Which one do you think?
Let's do the one you haven't released. Let's have some fun.
All right.
Okay.
Well, this one's quite dear to me. I wrote it after about 6 months long of songwriter's block, which was terrible. But finally one day it all spewed out of me, and I was like, this is awesome. So it's quite dear to me. This is called Out of Your Head. Empty pages tell every story, talking stages. You choose to ignore me, I'll make it painless. Close the book and leave it nameless. Just so you know, you've always written me my best songs without even playing a single chord. The ghostwriter I can't afford. But if you don't want to talk anymore, that's fine. If I can't be the one that's stuck in your life, I'll stay back, let you go. You can tell your friends that you're never gonna know what my smile looks like in the light, how my new hair glows in the sun. I'm done running around, chasing you down. Leaving me on red won't take me out of your head. I've never been too hopeful of you, no, I knew better. So I flew above you, self-preserve in another world. You're not afraid to ignore me, but you don't want to talk anymore, that's fine. If I can't be the one that's stuck in your life, I'll stay back, let you go. You can tell your friends that you're never gonna know what my smile looks like in the light, how my new That's why all our messages are blue. Well, I don't wanna talk anymore, you're fine. Don't bother reaching out later in life. I guess fate can change, let it go. I'll just tell my friends that I'm never gonna know what your eyes look like in my life. If you're ever gonna change your hair, I'm not running around or chasing you down. Go try another girl, 'cause I'm sure as hell not her.
I like it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. I'm very blessed to have you
Thank
do
you.
some very personal songs on
Thank
the
you.
podcast. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
That was great.
Thank you.
And yeah, it's I'll be an old dad here and do an old dad joke. I should have had my sunglasses on because the future's so bright. I gotta wear
Stop
shades,
it.
No, you keep up at it. Who knows? You might not be able to be a teacher for a while. So. But
Thank you.
But I certainly wish you all the best, and wherever music takes you. But I just think it's so fortunate that you got music.
It really is.
You can perform, you can teach it, whatever, and of course, because of the way the music industry works, you may have to teach so you can perform. But
Yes.
because it's
okay.
certainly hard to be a working musician.
It
these
is.
days, so.
It is. But hey, I mean, like, that's what's nice about weekends off, hey? You get all those weekends off. I can gig out until people are sick of me, and that's okay.
Yeah. Take your summers and take a tour. And
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Yeah.
So where can people find out about where you're playing?
Yeah, so I'm on social media, Facebook and Instagram at Miranda Wilcox Music. I always post my monthly schedule there.
Mm-hmm.
I also have some of my original music out anywhere you can stream music, Spotify, Apple Music, all the places under Miranda Wilcox. So that'd be awesome to give a listen as well. And I stay updated on all those platforms.
Right. Are you performing more down in Chautauqua County, or do you get up here to Buffalo every now and again, or?
Honestly, anywhere in northern PA, western New York area. I would like to branch out into Buffalo a little more often. That was my last Buffalo gig, was Flying Bison, and I don't know when I'm back in Buffalo again. But yeah, I don't actually perform in Chautauqua incredibly often because there's not a lot of places in Chautauqua. There are some, but they're mostly active during the summer, so.
Right. Yeah. So, well, Miranda, again, I can't thank you enough for coming down and sharing your music.
It's my
sharing
pleasure.
Your stories. And I hope everyone's had as much fun as we have. And as always, you can find the podcast where you find your podcasts at Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Audible, thebuffalohive.com, YouTube, and of course, rockabillygreg.com. where it's all about the music. Miranda, again, thanks so much. This has been great.
It's my
I've
pleasure.
really enjoyed
Thanks so much for having me. I had a great conversation.
Oh, you're welcome. And for everyone who's tuned in, we'll see you next week. Bye-bye. In the Flamingo Lounge is made possible in part by CatsLikeUs.com, your online store for authentic vintage clothing and accessories. Buffalo Ironworks, an intimate live music venue and bar located in the Cobblestone District in downtown Buffalo. And by Diamond Hawk Golf Course and Pub, Western New York's premier golf course, restaurant, and banquet facility. At the Hawk, the bar is hopping year-round with live music every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, and some other nights, too. Tune in for a new episode every Saturday at 9 a.m. EST at rockabillygreg.com, where it's all about the music. Bark, Zoe, bark. Good girl.